Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is September 13th, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 156 of me answering your immigration related questions. As always, before beginning this video, I'm gonna mention, as I mentioned in every video on this channel, I am not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin, which we are waiting for. October visa bulletin should be coming out in the next couple of days, so once it comes out I'll make a separate video on it. So if you're not subscribed to this channel just yet, make sure to subscribe because there will be a video comparing to the previous visa bulletin and basically comparing and discussing the movement for each family preference category. So let's start with the very first question from Helena Roos 2796 or Helen Arus. Sorry, YouTube, it's showing me handles now, not the name, so I apologize if I mispronounced that. How long after submitting documents will they notify you that your documents have been qualified and to the next step? Great question, Helena. Thank you for asking. So whenever it comes to documentary qualification, typically, the first submission is pretty fast. Most of the times they review it within like a month, sometimes even like as fast as like days, really, like within a week, and you get your review. So it's pretty quick with the initial submission of the documents. That's why I say all the time, whenever it comes to documentary qualification, if you have the full access to the NVC portal, make sure to go through in detail and just make sure you submit all of it, translations, everything that they request. Submit it, and even if like sometimes, for example, some countries, for example, with like marriage certificates, and I know it's from my personal experience, like there's if you're dealing like with a marriage certificate that already has the translation within it, it's not really a translation, but it is written in in Latin alphabet, so it's readable. For English speaking person, it will be readable, it will be understandable. And I made that mistake personally, and I submitted it, and they said no, we need an official, not official, but a certified translation of this document. So what I'm trying to say is you better be safe than sorry. And again, in this situation, it's not like if you're not documentarily qualified with the first submission, it's really not a big deal. It's just that the second submission, the resubmission, it does take a little bit longer for them to get back to and to review. And the second submission is usually it can range from a whole month to about 3 months for them to review the resubmission. But the initial submission is usually pretty quick. Most of the times it's like within a month, but it also can take up to 3 months for the NVC to review your documents. Again, what it also might depend on is which family preference category you are in, because if your visa is not yet available and you will still be dealing with the backlog and waiting after becoming documentarily qualified, in those situations your review is not a priority for NVC, so they might put it a little bit kind of on the back shelf. I forgot what the expression is, but you get the point. So usually it's within a month, but it can take as long as 3 months for the review. And again, try to do it on the first shot so that you don't have to wait again. I do have a video on this channel called Documentarily Qualified. What does it mean? And in that video, I show the actual NVC portal that was already documentarily qualified, and I go through all the documents, all the fees, all the forms that you need to fill out. So check it out, so that you're prepared and that all your submission is strong, your initial. But again, if it's not documentarily qualified on the first shot, that goes for everyone who's watching this video. Don't be upset, don't be too, because in most cases they do come back and say, oh, we need this, we need that, or this is not the right format, or whatever. So don't be upset if it's not documentarily qualified on the first shot. Okay, moving further to Tiki 8997. Thank you, you're very welcome, thank you for watching. Moving further to Greeb Vlogger. Greeb, thank you for another comment, always appreciated. So Greeb says, salam sir, just here to appreciate for doing a great job. Your like a first raindrop on a dry land for all of us looking for hopes. Grib, I appreciate your kind words. I'm glad this content is helpful. We should pray God bless you with health, wealth, and happiness. A big thank you, sir. Grib, thank you. I appreciate your kind words. I'm glad this content is helpful. You know, I'm not an attorney. This is not, you know, legal advice or anything like this. It's just, you know, from the experience. If I can share something from my experience, and if it's helpful, hey, it's a blessing. It's truly a blessing. So I appreciate it. Moving further to Age Digitally. Yes, sir, sure. Thank you, sir, for responding to my questions. You're very welcome. Jacqueline Prado says, thank you. You're very welcome, Jacqueline. Well, a lot of thanks today. So moving further to the next one from Ivory, 6744. October coming will make it 3 years for me waiting on an interview since 2020. F1 priority date, March 2015. You know what? Let's take a look at the visa bulletin, because I think you might be already documentarily qualified because you're just waiting for an interview now. And March 2015 in F1, it sounds awfully familiar. Let me take a look. Yes, so right now it's on January 2015. So you're in March 2015. So you are like, let's see, I'm gonna count January, February. So you're like 2 months, 3 months away from your priority date being current. And once it is current, then your interview, you know, is around the corner. So you really are close. You're very close. You're like at the final stage. I would definitely recommend, if you probably already know about Visa Bulletin and, you know, predictions on from Visa Bulletin. But if you're not, then this is the time to stay on top of the Visa Bulletin. October Visa Bulletin should be coming out in the next couple of days. Hopefully there is movement for everyone, and, you know, in your situation F1, but we will see. But regardless, you are really close to your interview. It should be, you know, 2-3 months for the priority date to become current. Hopefully, you know, it keeps on moving on the Visa Bulletin. And then the interview. Okay, moving further to the next one from Simone Williams. As you can see, Simone is one of the top commenters on this channel. Simone, always appreciate your comments. Great job. Hope most people here find it interesting and important. I find it very. Simone, thank you. Moving further to Denise Tofour. Denise is also one of the top commenters. Denise, appreciate your comments. Hi, sir. Can I now expedite in immigration process? So Denise, I don't remember if you are documentarily qualified, but I'm pretty sure your priority date was already current. If I'm mistaken, please correct me. But here are the requirements whenever it comes to expediting. It's not very good requirements, honestly. Don't think that I support that. I don't support that. But the requirements are, you have to be documentarily qualified and your immigrant visa should already be available. If you do meet both of these requirements, then yes. If you do have good enough reasons, like, you know, and there can be a lot of, most of the people meet those good enough reasons, you know. Just simply the fact that you've been waiting for years to reunite with your family is definitely a good enough reason, all right? So if you are documentarily qualified and your immigrant visa is already available, meaning that your priority date is current, yes, you can go ahead and submit that expedited request with the NVC. I do have the video on this channel on how to do it. So I don't remember exactly what it's called. I think it's called How to Request NVC Expedited Processing. I think that's what it's called. But yes, if you do meet those two things, then you can definitely do that. And let me know how it works out. It's actually pretty helpful. And just yesterday, whenever I was answering some question, I think that's why you asked the question, because there was somebody who was requesting the expedited processing, and then someone who was already approved for expedited processing. So yes, it's definitely doable, and, you know, I would recommend it for anyone who is documentarily qualified and who has their immigrant visas already available. Okay, moving further to the next question comment from Kosar Hussein 8151. Hi, thank you for your video, very helpful. I'm documentarily qualified, nice, since April 2023, and my priority date is August 2019. Please let me know, am I getting interview appointment? I'm from Iraq and my interview location is in Abu Dhabi. Okay, so Kosar, I wanted to actually ask you a couple of questions. First of all, to answer your question, I'm gonna need the family preference category. Please let me know 3 things again so that I remember, just in case. It's the family preference category, which one it is. It's the priority date. I know you let me know, but in a separate comment so that I don't forget. And then the chargeability area. Again, you told me you're from Iraq, but just so that I remember, and once I read your second comment so that I don't forget. Also, I wanted to ask you, if you can, just for my information, and I know a lot of people would be interested. I actually had a question like this yesterday, and the person was asking if it is possible to transfer his interview location from his country, and if I remember correctly, he was from Pakistan, to Abu Dhabi, actually. So let me know how you did it. It might be, I don't know what the situation is in Iraq with US embassies. It might be that Iraq does not have any active US embassies at the moment that does the immigrant visas, and they just scheduled automatically for Abu Dhabi, or maybe you requested to schedule in Abu Dhabi. Let me know. I know a lot of people on this channel would be interested to hear about this, and if you could provide that information, I would really appreciate it. Please submit it as a separate comment. Don't respond to my comment within your comment, because if you do, YouTube does not send me notification for whatever reason. So just post it as a separate comment, and I will see it on this wall, and I will address your question with your. But to kind of briefly address it, since you were documentarily qualified recently and your priority date is in August 2019, that is 4 years. Let me see if there is anything. So your priority is 2019. See, none of the family preference categories really work for you, because your priority, unless you're F2a. Maybe if you're F2a and you're documentarily qualifying right now, possibly, maybe you are in F2a category. If that's the case, then you have about a year to wait for your interview before your priority date becomes current. But again, let me know, and I'll take a look at the visa bulletin for sure and give you better predictions. Okay, let's move on further to Denise Dufour. Denise, another comment, appreciate it. So Denise, you are documentarily qualified. Wow, he just got documentarily qualified today. I am waiting for an interview date as soon as possible in the coming months. Denise, congratulations on becoming documentarily qualified. Now I'm going to ask you, I know you're going to submit a follow-up comment for sure. You always do, and I really appreciate it. So I'm going to ask you, did you get documentarily qualified on your first submission? Let me know, please, because if you did, that's awesome. Congratulations, that's fantastic. Man, just today, Denise, I'm sure everybody will be happy for you. Yes, it's awesome. Okay, moving further, today we got a lot of everybody's family reunification cases, and some good news today from Denise. Some good news. All right, well let's keep it going this way. So moving further to Aaron Asfaha 5925. Thank you so much for being publicly subscribed. I appreciate that. So Aaron says, "Hi sir, I always watch your videos. They're great, and now I just want to ask you about my case. It's priority date 09/2019 F2b category. So how long do you think it will take? And we already also sent to NBC expedition." Okay, so you requested the expedited processing. That's great. Hopefully it gets approved. Let's take a look at the F2b category and see the total length of how long it is before the availability of the immigrant visa. So F2b looks like, as of right now, the priority dates that are becoming current, they are in September 2015, and you are in September 2019. Okay, so you're exactly 4 years. So roughly you have another 4 years to wait, and that is assuming that you are in all chargeability area. For China it is the same, for India it is the same, for Mexico it is much longer, and for Philippines it's 4 years longer. Mexico is 14 years longer. It's crazy, some of these, man, all of this, I mean, except for the F2a is just 2 years behind for Mexico, but everything else is just, it's ridiculous for Mexico, so it's really bad. But assuming that you're in all chargeability, roughly you have 4 more years before the availability of the immigrant visa. And looking at the graph B, January 2017, the portal is opening up for January 2017, and you're in 2019. So I think, if I'm correct, in some situations it might be that the NVC portal opens up earlier. But I'm thinking, according to the visa bulletin, looking at it right now, the graph B, you still have 2 more years to NVC portal opening up. So I don't think you're documentarily qualified yet. So if you are not documentarily qualified yet, unfortunately, you won't be able to get the expedited processing from NVC, because one of the requirements that they do have is that you have to be documentarily qualified and your priority date has to be current. I know it is silly because, well, what's the point of expedited processing if you already waited for all these years for your priority date to become current and you're already documentarily qualified and your visa interview is around the corner? Makes no sense, right? But unfortunately, that's how it is right now, and that's the requirements that the NVC has. So I really hope that, that yes, they make exception for you. I don't know if they do. Please let us know, and that would be really helpful. But that's as far as I know right now. They don't do that. Okay, moving further to the next question from Al-Hagi Fatih 8408. Hello sir, I'm documentarily qualified since October 2022 and my priority date is 20 September 2016, visa type F2a PD. Okay, am I watching you from the Gambia? All right, good morning, but my interview is taking place in Senegal, in Dakar. Wow, okay, that's interesting. Again, if you can, Al-Hagi, I would really appreciate, because I had that question yesterday and I didn't know the answer, because person was asking if it's possible to change the location of the interview, to change the US Embassy. So again, I'm gonna ask you if you can let everyone know in the follow-up comment if you requested yourself a different location of the interview, or if they automatically scheduled it somewhere else. So if you could, I would really appreciate it. And hopefully, well, you already know when your interview was scheduled actually. So you already have your interview scheduled, which is fantastic. So yeah, if you could, I would really appreciate that. Okay, moving further, today's a pretty good day. Everybody, people getting documentarily qualified, people getting their interview scheduled. So it's really, it's a good day, Okay, moving further to the next one from Latifa Molik 566, category F2a, priority date 2017, November 3rd, documentarily qualified 2020 August. When will we get interview? Okay, let's take a look. F2a, let's see, F2a on the graph A. So we got right now January 2018. And you are, now I don't know your chargeability area, but I'm assuming you're in all chargeability area. If you're not, then obviously, it's either China, India, Mexico, or Philippines. There's only 4 countries that have separate chargeability area. So for the purpose of this answer, we're gonna take a look at all chargeability. And actually, as you can see, China and India and Philippines is the same priority date anyway. It's just Mexico that is different. So January 2018, and you are November 2017. Oh wow. Okay, so your priority date already is current. It's already current as of like a month or 2 months. So I'm thinking your interview has already been scheduled. So your priority date is current, you're already documentarily qualified, and you've been waiting like 2 months past the priority date. So I'm thinking your interview is already scheduled. The only reason why you didn't get the interview notice is because they have to send the notice either 30 days or 60 days. In most of the cases, they send it 30 days before the actual interview date. And the reason why they do it is because you have to do the medical examination within 30 days of the notice. So I'm thinking it is already scheduled. If you want, what you can do is you can reach out to the US Embassy where you will be going through the interview and tell them that, say, hey, I'm already documentarily qualified. My immigrant visa is already available. My priority date is current. I was wondering if you could tell me when my interview was scheduled for. Sometimes they can give you that information. It's at their, courtesy to give you that information or not. And most of the times they don't give that information. They say, no, we can't give you that information. Don't be upset if they don't, but it's worth a shot because sometimes they do. Unofficial, it's unofficial because they just look at their schedule and they say, hey, your interview was scheduled, 3 months from now. You will get your notice a month before the interview. So just, be patient. But if they don't, again, don't be upset. You can find the information for all the U.S. embassies at usembassy.gov, and it goes by the list of all the countries. Just find your country. For example, Egypt, click on it, and it will give you all of the U.S. embassies and consulates. Obviously, you want to be contacting U.S. embassy. The phone number, this is for Egypt, but you get the point. So let me post the answer here, and I will also post the link for this website so you could find it easier. See? All right, let's move on to the next comment from Sonia Garcia 9729. Do you know the wait time to get my interview? I am IR1 applying from Costa Rica and documentarily qualified. Priority date is December 10, 2021. Okay, Sonia, thank you very much for your comment. So you are in immediate relative category, so you are not dealing with a visa backlog at all. Since you are already documentarily qualified, it means your visa, your immigrant visa, has been available for, since USCIS approved your I-130 petition. So that's definitely the good news. And you've been waiting quite a long time now, almost 2 years. So your interview should definitely be somewhere around the corner. Now, there's a couple of options that you can do if you want. You can do the same thing that I was describing to Latifa. You can call the U.S. Embassy in Costa Rica or whatever U.S. Embassy, the nearby U.S. Embassy is where you will be going through your interview, and tell them that you are in immediate relative category, that you are already documentarily qualified, and you've been waiting for quite a long time, if they can give you when the interview was scheduled for, because I'm thinking it is already scheduled. And another thing that you can actually do, because your priority date is current, because you are in immediate relative category, and that goes also for Latifa, you can request the expedited processing with NVC and tell them that, hey, my immigrant visa is available, I'm documentarily qualified. You meet all of the requirements to request that expedited processing. So I honestly, I would do that because, you're in immediate relative category. And so, IR1, I think that's either spouse of a U.S. citizen or a child of a U.S. citizen under 21. So, that's definitely good enough reasons to request the expedited processing, and, they most likely might approve it. But even if you don't, your interview should definitely be somewhere around the corner because, like I said, it's you're already documentarily qualified, and your priority date is, almost 2 years back. So it should be anywhere now, anywhere. I would say definitely by the end of this year, you should have your interview scheduled, I'm thinking. Okay, moving further to the next comment from Winston Amber TG7ZF. Please, I submit my I-130 petition in 7th August 2023. All right, so just over a month ago, and they gave me 12 months, but on 1st September 2023, they reduced it to 11 months. What does that mean? Please reply me. Okay, of course, Winston Amber, thank you for your question. So I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but I'm thinking you're referring to the processing times of the I-130, which is, if you are in immediate relative, it's usually about a year. So that sounds correct, 12 months. And then on September, because you moved, you waited almost a whole month, which, yeah, you did because you submitted in the beginning of August. Now they reduced it to 11 months. So now instead of waiting 12 months, you have 11 months to wait for because you waited the whole month, if that makes sense. And that refers to the processing times at USCIS, which you can find on USCIS .gov website, but it sounds like you're already familiar with that. But that's really all that means. So looks like everything is moving along pretty good. Okay, moving further to the next question, comment from Tarek Rahman 8708. I got documentarily qualified 15th August 2023. All right, so just recently, like a month ago. My wife is a US citizen and my embassy is at Dhaka. When can I expect interview appointment? Okay, so Tarek, so the good news is, well, you're already documentarily qualified a month ago. That's fantastic. That's a huge milestone. And you are in immediate relative category because your wife is a US citizen. So that's also fantastic news. It means your immigrant visa is already available. Now, depending on how busy the US embassy at Dhaka is, it will depend on when your interview is going to be scheduled. Most of the times for immediate relative category, the interview is scheduled within like 6 months once you are documentarily qualified, most of the times. Personally, for me, whenever I was petitioning for my parents, also immediate relative category, it took 9 months for them to get their interview. I've seen some people waiting as long as a year for the interview to be scheduled in busier areas where US embassies are a little bit busier than usual. But again, like I've been answering earlier, you have some options. You can call, my geography is bad. Dhaka, I don't think that's a separate country. I think it's a city. Yeah, that's definitely a city. So Dhaka, where's Dhaka? Is it I don't think it's in India. Is it in India? Let me see. Let's see, because I am now curious. Let's see if there's a Dhaka. Delhi, Chennai, in Hyderabad, Kolkata, Mumbai. No, it's not in Dhaka. So I know it's Islamabad, it's Pakistan, maybe Bangladesh. It's even Bangladesh. Sorry, please don't make fun of my geography. It should be better than this. Yes, it's in Bangladesh. All right, on the second try I was able to get it. So here it is. Here's the embassy in Dhaka. Here's their phone number. Give them a call and say, hey, I'm documentarily qualified. I'm in immediate relative category. I wanted to see when my interview was scheduled for. Or you can say, I wanted to see if you can give me the information when my interview was scheduled for. Just, be polite, be professional. If they say, no, we're not going to give you that information, say, okay, it's fine. I understand. It is what it is. Because most of the times they don't give that information. But in some cases they do. And then another option that you have is you can request expedited processing. Again, because you are in the immediate relative category, you are documentarily qualified, so you meet all of the required criteria. So whichever way you decide to go, please come back to this channel and let us know the update. That would really be helpful for everyone. I'm sure everyone will be interested to hear. Okay, let's probably address the last question for today from Lucy Selaire 5112. What's the right procedure for a joint sponsor? Because I'm the petitioner filing for my son and daughter over 21, the portal is open and I am in need of a joint sponsor. My daughter nephew didn't join with me together as a joint sponsor. He did it separately for my daughter and her both kids. I paid all the fees altogether for both my son and daughter, including their kids. Will the NVC accept it regardless as well? Didn't join as sponsor together. We both filed in the affidavit of support. So Lucy, thank you so much for the question. I am trying to understand how exactly he did it separately, because there is really no way to do it. I'm trying to think. I don't think there is a way to do it separately, unless he found the affidavit of support somehow, somewhere, and printed it out. And still, it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna work. The good news is that whenever you are adding a joint sponsor on your, within your NVC portal, it is free, and that's the correct way to do it, because you already paid for your own affidavit of support as the main sponsor, as the petitioner sponsor, and obviously you need a joint sponsor in this situation because you did your calculation and you determined that you do need, or maybe NVC told you that you do need a joint sponsor. But the correct way to do it is through the NVC portal. So you log into the NVC portal just like you did your own, and then you will see over there is under the sponsors, and actually in the video where it's called NVC, sorry, not the NVC, documentarily qualified. What does it mean? That's what the video is called. I show over there because in that portal there was a need for a joint sponsor, and all you do is you add the joint sponsor, you add their name, and then you wait like few days for the NVC to review your request, and then they add that joint sponsor, and then you have an option to submit an affidavit of support for that sponsor. But that's the only way that I know of, is doing it within your own NVC portal and not separately. So I would discuss it with your daughter's nephew who did this separately, and let them know that the only correct way to do it is through the NVC portal, the existing one that you already have the access to. And what you will need to do is you would need to go there. You will see there is a little button there right above your name where your affidavit of support is, and it will say add joint sponsor or something along those lines, or maybe add sponsor. So you will click on that, you will put the information, the name for the joint sponsor, and then you will send it as a request to the NVC, and then in a few days they will review it, approve it, and then you will be able to submit the second affidavit of support from that joint sponsor. But that's the only way I know of how to do it. Hopefully you can figure this out. Good luck with that, and if you do have any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to come back on this channel and ask them in the comments below. Just make sure for everyone who's asking for follow-up questions, or if you have a kind of comment or anything like that, make sure to submit it as a separate comment. Don't respond to my comment within your comment, because YouTube does not send me those notifications. So thank you very much everyone for tuning in today, for watching this video, for all your questions and comments. I appreciate them as always. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.